form. Niggas speak down on my name like I wasn't there for 'em. Talk about back in the days, this isn't back in the days. They want me back in my ways, trip through from the fade. Music lit on my Mars. Walking all over the beat, putting my feet on the stars. I'm rocking like Lenny, thinking like Jimmy the first time he seen a guitar. Standing in front of where they shout about us and we gotta know who we are. I'm in rare form. Wearing Red Jordan, straight from Air Jordan, this a fair warning. Too many on guards, beef over nothing. When you get money, you know that it's coming. Saying they homies, but they ain't 100. We the most 100. I got my Mets hat on to the back. Y'all already know where we going with the stats. Hall of Fame only, kings and queens only. They all be grabbing my...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mind the Risk podcast. I'm Max Capital, and today I am joined by one of the best female traders that I've ever seen or come across in the industry. She's a mother of two. She's gone through the rites of passages of trading, the blown accounts, trying to get funding. And I am so happy to say today she's a fund manager. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Nafeesah Munshi. How are you doing?
All good. Thank you for the intro, Max.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You know, we've been talking about this for a while now. I think we were supposed to shoot before you left for London. I was late to send you a message. I just want to ask before we get we dive deep into things. Why did you accept the call or the message to join us on this?
You know, like we were discussing previously, I think a lot of women in this industry are not given the recognition they deserve. It's about time that the females dominate. You know, the men need to take a step down from it now.
I see. Plus, you guys are more than us, and I would argue that you guys are better traders than us. You know, it's counterintuitive in the sense that I feel like when it comes to the market, we're more emotional than women.
No, definitely. I think with us, our emotions, as much as we are emotionally inclined, we tend to put it at the back of us, you know.
True.
So it does make a difference.
I see. All right. Please, can you just tell us your background story and how you became first interested into Forex? But more of the kind of person you are, because I really want to know the woman behind the charts, because once you get to know that person, it is easy to understand the decisions that they make. Look at you today, you're in London, kids are left back in South Africa, making those sacrifices. Why? But just take me back with Nafeesah. I just want to know more about you.
Okay, cool. So basically, I started Forex about 5 years ago, and this was just about 2020. So I got divorced in 2019, right? Straight after I had my son. So it was a mixture of things going on in my life. I was in a very bad patch, and I was working in corporate. So I'm a project manager in construction by profession. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a job in my industry. So at that time, I was taking anything that came, you know, to hand. So admin, receptionist, you name it. And, you know, earning 5,000 Rand, 6,000 Rand a month wasn't paying anything.
Something is very hard here in South Africa, you know.
It is. And at that time, I was living with my family. And, you know, when I looked in the mirror every day, it was like, I can't do this. This isn't for me, you know. Not having your own space, your own privacy, it really impacted my mental health. And then I met a friend, and they introduced me to affiliate marketing in Forex. So not even trading. Sorry?
Was it IML? Most of us came through to this market through IML, International Markets Live.
Yeah, it was kind of IML, you're right. And they told me that, look, every client you bring on will pay you $50. And for me, $50 back then was good money. So I was like, sure. And mind you, I had like maybe less than 2,000 followers on social media. But for me, it was more thing that there's no harm in trying it. I would try anything at that point, you know. And well, I guess 6 months into me marketing Forex, not knowing anything what Forex is. Listen, I never even took proper maths in school. I was maths lit in matric. I never done accounting. Finance was not my strongest suite. So
Yeah.
it never interested me, right? And then I used to watch them trade. So when they used to trade, they'd send me a screenshot and then I'd post that as marketing. So eventually I got into the things where like, I think I need to teach myself. So at that point, there was only YouTube available, right? So I
Yeah.
started watching a lot of YouTube videos, and Raja Banks at that time was like my biggest
Yeah.
mentee,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I went into it and started teaching myself how to trade. Obviously, it was demo accounts at first. And then I
Yeah.
started funding my own live accounts and blowing them. But for
Happened. It's a
me,
rite of passage.
100%. But the thing for me was the fact that I could make 5,000 Rand in a day and not wait till month end was,
Yeah.
the signing deal for me. And yeah, I just stuck into it and it wasn't easy. It was really difficult. There were times when I felt like I should just go back and work for somebody and get a salary at the end of the month.
I see. I see. And now you spoke of family, which is very important. You're surrounding your environment in the
100%.
traders, should I say, success or performance in the industry. Did you still live with your family after you started trading, and how did that impact your performance? Because I'm going to make an example with some of the guys that I coach. Some of them would call me and say, "Hey, my guy, every time I have to take a trade, I have to hide because I'm sharing a room with my brothers and sisters, and when they see me do this thing, they're going to tell my mother, and my mother is totally against it." So, what was your experience on that regard?
So, look, like I said, for the first 6 months, I was doing marketing. And the minute I started making a bit extra cash, I found somebody's back room apartment and I moved out. I couldn't live with family anymore. So let me be very honest here. I've got a love-hate relationship with my family. I get along with certain people and the rest, we don't see eye to eye. And the funny thing is 5 years later, they've seen my success. They've seen me grow in this industry, but they still don't believe it, For them, it's like there's no way she's sitting at home and making money. And if you can't prove it to somebody, I just feel like let it be,
Absolutely.
So when it comes to family and friends, it's very toxic because they see what you're doing, but they don't believe it. And they've got their own assumptions and So when I was living with them, they just knew I was doing marketing until they started seeing, okay, I trade and I don't work for anybody. But they still don't grasp the concept of exactly what I do. Like if you ask my mom, she'll tell you I trade, but she doesn't understand what it means. She just knows that I'm on my phone 24/7.
Yeah. Speaking of that, once you started your trading, were there any big challenges that you encountered, except for blowing accounts, of course? Are there any challenges you encountered thereafter? Because I'm now thinking you moved out of home and now you're blowing accounts. How did you even manage to get money to continue paying rent and take care of yourself because you didn't have a job at the time?
You know what? For me, it was like at the end of the day, it's either go big or go home because I knew this was my only way forward. I had no other backup plan. You must remember, I never really studied after I matriculated. I don't come from a family that has money, and my personal background, every man for themselves. That's how it is in my family, So if you don't make it,
that's why you're surviving in this market. Sorry, I think that's why you're surviving this market because basically here you eat what you kill.
100%, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
So you were thinking your family.
It was just pushing every day and thinking, okay, you know what? I've seen people on social media at that time. They were buying Lamborghinis, Ferraris, traveling in private jets, first class. And that's what I manifested. Like, that's a big thing I always tell a lot of my students and clients. Manifestation is so important because if you envision yourself in that life, believe me, you're going to get it. If you sit with a negative mindset continuously, you're not going to go very far in life. So I knew I needed to give my kids a better future, a life that I never had growing up, I never ever want them to come to me and be like, Mom, I want X, Y, and Z. And I don't want to tell them, no, I can't afford it or not now. I need to be able to say, okay, sure, let's go buy it now. That's the kind of mother I am. So I spoil my kids in that sense. And I always tell them the sacrifices we're making now is our little family will pay off when you guys are older and you'll appreciate it then,
Absolutely. I think it's very important communicating whatever you're doing, especially this industry that we're in, because I'd say in Africa, where we both come from, it is kind of new. People are confused. And those that have tried, most of them have been scammed. So every time they hear that their family member is into this, they're trying to protect them. Also, it's important to curate an environment that allows you to be successful, so to speak, so that you do not have to hide when you take that first trade. Speaking of trading, do you remember your first account or your first trade? I remember mine.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So my first trade was USD JPY.
Okay.
A pair that I barely touch anymore. But for some reason, so when I started trading, I felt like I needed to be on the markets the entire day. And the main session I would trade was the Asian session. So I'd be up the entire night, right?
Okay.
And that's when JPYs move the most.
Absolutely.
And then I used to also be a lot in NASDAQ. So it was USD JPY, NASDAQ. So that time with Axness, you had US stack times 100.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, that one showed me flames. So it was interesting.
Okay.
Because there you could make good money, but you could also blow an account. So the first trade I ever took, I think, was a 0.05 on USD JPY.
Yeah.
And
how big was that?
I blew that account. Not even half an hour later.
How big was it? Was it $50, $100?
I think it was, like 1,000 Rand account. So so small, very small. Yeah.
So probably you were risking everything there.
Yeah. Oh, everything.
Yeah. I think it's one of the things that you might be appreciating now that you are trading investor capital. That I always say this to people, that making more money in trading, it is not a function of risking more or taking more trades, but it's a function of scaling capial. Whatever you can do to increase your account size, because if you're gonna trade 1,000 rands, and we have to consider a minimum margin requirement at 0.05, there probably I think 10-20% of the account was already gone as a minimum margin requirement. That is great. We had some questions that were posted by some of your followers on Instagram. I'm going to read the first one from Ismail Doc. He asked, is it worth it to quit Forex? To quit your day job for Forex if you have a working day trading strategy?
Look, that always comes down to your personal life and your financial capacity, right? If you can afford to risk it all, I always say do it. Like I say, it's never a failure. It's always a lesson in it. So if you've got a good strategy going, might as well. For me, the thing is, why make somebody else rich? Why work for somebody and let them get all the profits and all the shares end of the month and you're just sitting with a measly salary? Doesn't make sense.
I see. But do you believe Forex is for everyone?
No, it isn't. Not at all.
Okay, can you elaborate on that?
So you know what? It comes down to your personality. So as a trader, you have no emotions. And I learned that the hard way. There's like a lot of things in my personal life now that before I would take personally or get irritated or emotional about. And now I can sit there and watch a building catch on fire and sip on my cup of coffee. It's you're training your mind to be stronger than your heart in any case.
Absolutely.
So some people, they can't do that. And I think another thing is when you come from a background where you never heard anything, it makes a big difference because you're not really losing anything in any case.
True. You can always risk it. You can always come back. I think, growing up with nothing, it's a blessing and a curse, but more of a blessing because with you can just jump onto anything and go all in without thinking too much about the risk because you've already had nothing. I think there are people who could make it in this industry, but they're always shy to take the risks. I'm not saying blow the whole account. Just funding an account, it is a risk on its own. And then you obviously have to learn how to control that risk. And there's someone who asked this question: how do you navigate Forex as a beginner with little experience? Maybe you can take them back to when you started.
So it's trial and error. Like, you know what? As much as you can have somebody teaching you their strategy or buying signals or watching YouTube videos, it comes down to you backtesting every day. So if it means blowing 10 accounts in the week, you're going to blow 10 accounts and you're going to win one account. So it's trial and error in this industry, especially as a beginner. You need to take into consideration it's going to take you months and years to be comfortable enough to actually fund your account and be willing to risk all of that money and lose it all.
Absolutely. I think that was a perfect answer. Now, you're a mother of these two beautiful children, a female Forex trader. I've been coaching so many female Forex traders, and some of them would come to me and say, Maxwell, can you just trade for me? Because I've got kids, I've got this and this responsibilities, so it's going to be hard for me to trade. What can you say to someone like that?
You know what? I think it's so important as a mother, firstly, to put yourself first. I know a lot of mothers always feel like they need to put their kids first, but how can you give all your love and attention if you yourself aren't in a good space? Mentally, you need to be strong enough to look at those little faces and say, I'm going to do this for you. So it's a very tough decision as a mom to navigate your personal life and your career and see what goes hand in hand. So from my personal experience with my children, they were with me full time, like in a sense that they lived with me full time. And then it came to a point where I started traveling a lot. So I've got a very good relationship with their dad. We co-parent very well. So they live with him during the week, and on weekends I get them. So that was one of the biggest sacrifices I made in this industry as a mom, not having my children with me full time. But that doesn't mean that my responsibilities as a mother isn't there. Like while I'm in a trade, my daughter will call me, I need help with maths homework.
True.
And what do you do?
How do you? Because speaking of a daughter, she's a female as well. I'm sure you understand how much she needs attention at the stage that she's in. How do you then leave the markets and attend to that? And are you attending your kid and they're still thinking about the trade you were supposed to execute? And now when you go back, you feel like you miss out on the trade. How does that dynamic go?
It's multitasking at its best, eh? So that's why my phone is in my hand 24/7. My kids know me so well, whether I'm driving them around or taking them for extramurals after school or extra classes. I'm still trading. I'm still on the charts. Unfortunately, I can't separate that. So as much as I'm giving them the attention, they know my work is there. And they've kind of got accustomed to that lifestyle with me. And, that's another topic I want to touch on, that when you have kids, if they don't know what you're doing in your career, then you're doing it wrong. So my little one, my son, he knows exactly how the markets move. When I'm trading...
I was about to ask you that are you going to teach your kids how to trade?
Definitely. That's a skill they can have for life. They don't need to be traders. They just need to know how to navigate the markets. And especially the times they're going to be in, 20 years from now, 15 years from now, everything's going to be digital. Look, even with crypto and that. So I like to educate them and show them this is what mommy does. And when you're old enough, you should be doing it as well.
I see. Now we are going to move up a bit right now. I want to ask you, obviously you say you come from nothing. Yeah. I'm interested to know, how did it feel when you received your first investor capital, and what were the steps that you took to acquiring capital? I mean, for instance, building a track record, which is very important. I also coach fund managers whom I help build the track record to attract private investor capital. Sometimes it's not building a track record to attract investor capital, but to build confidence in yourself and your edge in the market, so that whenever you risk your own money, you're confident that in the long run, you'll be a winner than a loser. So how did that feel like, and what were the steps that you took to get there?
So first, it started off with me marketing, right, on social media. And that kind of built a community and a trust along with that. And then secondly, it came into small accounts. So when I started off, it was $500 that the clients would give. And the main thing for me was not taking anybody's money into my personal capacity.
I
So
see.
nobody was ever sending me the money and then I traded it. They had full access to their funds. I just copied my trades onto their account. So
Yeah.
from one client, it became, okay, I made them good profits. Then it was word of mouth to the next client. And then it
Yeah.
grew. Obviously, the capital investment started growing as the months and years went on. So I think it was up until the second year of me trading, that's when I started getting big investors. And it was a game changer. Because you must
That's
remember, when you're
really
not
cool.
trading, when you're not trading with your own money, it makes such a difference because now
Yeah.
it's somebody's money entrusted onto you. So you're looking after it a bit more, you know?
Isn't that too much pressure though? Because I won't lie, I used to do it in my early years of trading as well. But I'm kind of an introvert. I like my space, so I didn't like someone calling me every now and then and say, "Hey, what's happening?" This thing. Maybe it was retracing just 3 pips, and this person is now panicking. Wasn't there too much pressure there because they could see their accounts?
It was a lot of pressure. And that's when I started being picky with who I take as a client. So somebody
Mm,
can come to me with a good amount and I'll be like, especially knowing their personality, I won't take them on board because
I
it's a
see.
headache I don't want in my life. Like I always
Mm,
tell them, if you're going to give me this trading account for me to trade on, you need to give me the
yeah,
trust with it. You can't be
that's.
sitting on my head nagging 24/7. Like it doesn't work that way.
I
So
see.
I've kind of eliminated that completely. I'm fussy now.
Yeah. I also just on a personal note, I would say to people who get given funds or trading accounts, I think it's very important to have a sort of a signed agreement in place
Yes, you
because
have to.
in my experience, even with the people that I'm coaching, is I normally get they tell me that they would sit down and have an agreement on the table and they would make money, generate money. But when things start going wrong, then this guy receives a lawsuit, blah, 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 and
Yes,
stuff like
that's
that.
true. You need to be
Yeah,
transparent. And if you have paperwork in order, it's always better, right? Because then you can
yeah,
set rules and regulations and boundaries to be like, please don't contact me after 7 or 8, or please don't
yeah,
contact me on a Sunday or on a weekend. And if they
yeah.
sign it, they have to respect it. Now, if you don't
I
have
see.
that in place, people take advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, I think with any regulator around the world, it is illegal to take someone's money,
Yeah,
of course, or be given money.
100%.
But truth be told, it's hard to avoid these people because they are in our DMs every day. Um, I'm telling you, some people have been offered cars. The worst case was someone offering me marrying their daughter. It's crazy out here.
The
Mafia
craziest things.
offering me marrying their daughter. So it's really crazy here. Now, speaking of trading, I want to know what is your approach in the market, not just now that you're managing funds, but from that time you had your personal accounts. When you open your PC, what are the first things that you're looking for? If you're going to Bloomberg to see the news or Forex
Yeah,
Factory to see what news events. This other week I saw you traded PPI and you made some really good money.
yeah. So,
Yeah, just tell me more about your approach.
so I think my approach, I'm a high risk trader, firstly.
Oh, first time I'm hearing someone admit to that. Okay.
I am. I'm not going to deny it. I don't use a
Okay.
stop loss, number one. Uh,
Okay.
I know a lot of people are going to be like, I'm crazy, but I believe in letting my trades breathe, especially if you've got a decent equity
Mm,
sitting in your account. You can afford to
I,
do that. Look, if
I
you're
see.
playing with small capital, please use a stop loss. Don't be like me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
number one, I always set to take profit. That's very important to me, to have that in mind that, okay, this is where I'm going to take a profit. But if you don't, and that's in the market retraces, your whole
Yeah.
day of trading is wasted. And then
Okay.
another thing is I trade the trend. Whatever is happening in the market on that day, I'll trade the trend for that. And if
The
it's not
golden.
according to my strategy, I won't trade for the day. So
I
in
see.
this month, I've taken, I was counting last night, I think 13 trades for the whole month.
Okay. This whole month.
Whole month. Only
That's
13.
interesting. Well, that's a lot. I normally take about 6. To me, it seems like a lot. Speaking of you not putting a stop loss, aren't you afraid that there might be a news event or something like that happened recently, an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, forced the market to shift in a way, or you just banking on that you have a healthy account balance?
No, so fundamentals are important, right? You have to take that into consideration. So if I'm high risk trading the account for that day, I'm solely on the charts. I'm not getting up and going to take a shower or going out to have coffee. No, I will sit at 4 hours strictly on the charts and close off and then start my day. So it's a different approach. It is high risk trading, but it works for me. And I've tried different strategies and I can't do it. So it's simple. It's support and resistance and technical analysis. That's it. No funny indicators, nothing.
Yeah. Okay. So you're basically a naked chart trader.
Yeah. 100%.
Fantastic. Yeah. You spoke of it works for you. How important is marrying a strategy to your personality?
It's very important. You see, I'm the type of person, I'm a cold person. In my own life, I've got no emotions.
I've seen your life. Yeah.
So that makes such a difference because when I go into the market, it's going with zero emotion into it and a lot of discipline. That if I go in now and just say I high risk traded and I lost maybe 5% of my capital, I'm not going to go in again today. I'm going to sit and I'm going to see where I went wrong. So that's also another thing. As much as I've been trading for the past 5 years, I still backtest and see my mistakes. And then tomorrow I'll re-enter the market. And if tomorrow's not a good day, I'll wait for Monday.
I see. Yeah. That is a great response. Now, I also like to take you back. I just keep on taking you back and forth to your early days of trading and maybe some recent days of trading. Was there a point in your trading career where things were going so bad, you were blowing accounts and you felt like giving up on trading? If yes, what would you say to someone who's there? That was last year.
Yeah. So last year I was going through a very bad patch in my personal life. And that impacted my entire business, my entire career. When I tell you, I never left my home for almost 9 months. I was in a deep depression. I was blowing accounts left, right, and center, and nobody knew this. Everyone thought I was still living a very fantastic life. Yeah. But it was so terrible that I couldn't bring myself to go out of the house. And every time I went in the charts, I was revenge trading, in other words, thinking, because I lost a lot of money last year, actually a big amount, and that impacted my mental health completely. And then also in terms of relationships, I was in a very toxic relationship, and that destroyed me inside. So my entire trading career went down the hill in a matter of like 6 months.
Yeah.
When it was about December, I thought to myself, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I need to open another business. And I need to leave trading behind. Okay. And then I took a break for maybe about 2 months and I said, I need to refocus. And if I've done it for this many years, I can't give up now because this is what I want. I'm passionate about it. Okay. And with a clear mind, I started making my money back again. And it was a good thing. And hence why I moved to London. So South Africa has been bittersweet for me in the past year. And I felt that I needed a complete change of scenery, So I was in Dubai for the past 2.5 years. But Dubai's lifestyle was also a bit much. So it's lovely. But as a mother, it was becoming something that wasn't for me any longer,
I see. A bit more toxic. So you mentioned that you got depressed at some point when you lost a lot of money and you couldn't talk to anyone. 9 months stuck in the room. So I just want to know how important is having a community of people around you that understand what you're going through.
It's very important because you must remember at that point, my family didn't understand what was happening. They couldn't
Yeah.
fathom what was going on around me and in my life.
Yeah.
Certain family members, and then other family members actually could see that I'm not doing
Okay.
well at all. Like I'm not
I,
eating, I'm not speaking. I wasn't even really communicating with my kids. Like they were there, but I wasn't there. You know, physically there, but mentally, I was in a different universe altogether. And then when it came
I,
to friends, you know, I think I've cut out a lot of people from my life as well. You know, when
mm,
times are good, everyone is there, and when you have dark days, not even your shadow is with you.
happened. I know exactly how that feels. So we're gonna play a little game here. It's called just have a rapid fire questions. So what I'm gonna do is ask you or share a couple of Forex words or key terms, and you're gonna tell me the first thing that comes into mind. So
Okay, cool.
the first word is leverage.
Monopoly.
Okay. I'm not gonna ask you more about that. Spread.
Spread, I'm going to go with expansion.
Expansion.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Peeps.
Pips, movement.
Movement. I see. Volatility.
Unpredictable.
And now this is my favorite one. I already know the answer to this one. Stop loss.
Cancelled.
Cancel all the time.
Cancelled.
Okay. We also have another section here just before we end this podcast. So Noma is called passing the baton. You watch Olympics, right?
Yes.
Relay teams when they're passing the baton to the next one. So what we do is the current guest would ask that will leave a question for the next guest, an interesting question. And this guest left you this question: how do you become successful in what you're doing when your government is against it?
I've never been one to really follow the rules in anything I've done in my life.
Okay.
So, with that being said, it's always good to step out of your comfort zone. And if it means leaving the country and leaving the government behind,
yeah,
do it.
I've
Start
left
over
my
in
country.
a new place.
Yeah, yeah, that is very important. And being a Forex trader, obviously we spoke about creating a community, Forex Queens, Forex Hands, just to make sure that females that want to come into the industry are more comfortable, and we share the right information with them and provide that support, that sisterly love. I haven't seen it happening in the industry in a while. Back in the day, we had women in Forex. I don't know what happened with that, but probably there
On
were
that
scams.
topic, let me just say like a big congratulations to trader Chantel. She bought such a beautiful pink Ferrari, and that's so
yes.
admirable, you know.
Yeah.
It's beautiful and she deserves it. At the end of the day, she's worked hard for it, and big ups to her.
Fantastic. Shout out to Chantel. I'm hoping I'm going to have you on this podcast very soon. What advice would you give to aspiring women who want to enter the world of Forex trading?
You know what? At the end of the day, you need to put your entire mind and heart into it and block out all the negative energy around you and go hard into it. As much as it's male dominated, so are other industries in this world. But as a female, we have more integrity in us. So that's why this industry is for females, as much as it doesn't look like it, but it is.
Yeah. I hope that was insightful for a lot of females. And then finally, I'm going to sound like in a job interview now. Any future ambitions in trading and investing? Where can we see you? Where do you see yourself in the next few years? Obviously, you're going to be joining us for the Traders Q&A panel. Thank you for agreeing to do that. Traders Q&A panel, ladies and gentlemen, it is where we're going to be answering your burning questions. You'll post your questions on the socials and we'll respond with them to them rather with a panel of experienced traders around the world. So what are your future ambitions? Because I feel like you've reached the ceiling now, funded trader.
So funny enough, I want to be on Bloomberg. I want to be an analyst.
Okay, that's great. That's great. I have a couple of friends that can help you with that. We'll talk more about that.
So that's my dream goal, you know.
I see.
I don't mind working in corporate again if it comes to that. And to be an analyst on Bloomberg, I think that'll be like the cherry on top, especially with all the years of experience in this industry. That's where I'm heading to. Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. It was a pleasure having you. I can't wait for us to do the session on the Traders Q&A session. Lovely. Enjoy your life in London. I'm hoping when you come here, you'll visit us. We're here at Just the Studios, one of the best studios in South Africa. And
thanks so much for having me, Max. I really enjoyed it.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for agreeing to join me, because, I've been messaging a lot of traders, sometimes the arrogance is just too much in this industry, forgetting that I'm not just inviting you to a studio. My table is always full in terms of opportunities. I'm also a business developer. I always have brokers who want to work with people. But if you just say no, just at face value, you don't know who I am. I always say, treat everyone with respect and listen before you can make a decision. I think that's very important.
On that note, closing up, life is a circle. Whatever is up must come down, and whatever is down has to go up. So don't be arrogant.
That is very true. All right, thank you so much, Nafeesah. Enjoy the rest of your day, yeah?
Thank you, you too. Bye.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this podcast. We had Nafeesah Munshi, who's going to join us again on the Traders Q&A panel. Keep posting those questions. We're going to respond to them with a panel of experienced traders. Until the next one, stay inspired, trade for a living, and mind the risk. Cheers.